everybody. Welcome to the Stardom Fan Podcast. I'm Mark.
I'm Juno.
Hey, buddy. And this week is the quarterly power rankings that haven't been
Biannual.
done since 2023.
Biannual.
Biannual. You will. But first, before we get into the main event, I had, if you would indulge me, we get a lot of comments on the YouTubes, and it's not too often we get questions. Would you like to answer a question?
No. But go ahead.
Well, it
No,
starts off you. Well, it starts off you, Mark ass weebs. You have no, no. Actually, there was another one from the EO fan. What did it say? Oh, did you know that since you don't like EO, you have lost all credibility? To which I say, you have never had any credibility, Juno.
it's only up from here. It's a
Well, there's
long
two things.
way to the top if you want to rock.
There was a lot, real quick, just to talk. I mean, we can go through a lot of the comments. But this one goes back about 10 days, and one just goes back a couple of days ago, and it's from. I keep putting him over every week because he always writes a lot of comments, and he seems really nice. But our friend Jory that watches us on the YouTube, and this goes back talking about the last pay-per-view, so we don't have to really get into that. But what he says to pose a question to you is. Let me skip some of this.
Just to me.
Just us in general, but I'm more curious about what you think after Mayu leaving and basically everything that like the exodus of everyone after the pay-per-view. This is going back a little while ago, but I figure if someone took the time to ask a question, we might as well take the time to answer it, right?
Yeah.
It says there is a definite hole in Stardom right now, says Jory, and I don't think there is someone on the roster to fill it. I think new, fresh talent is needed to build around. Agree? Disagree? And then he just goes on to say, I like that beast of a gal that took out Micah. That's where he's talking about Chohiro. Thanks as always for the great content. Appreciate it. We appreciate you, Jury. So I guess, I mean, I'm sure it's going to come up during our power rankings, but, do you feel a talent hole or anything like that?
So what's going to fill the Mayu hole? Probably Kurara, right? That's my like then, now, and forever. She's like the top star, I think. Top babyface anyway.
She's really being built, and her wrestling from underneath is like, well, one, she probably should too, because she's new, young, and pulled off a couple of great victories. I mean, she's the Cinderella this year, right?
I did think that they. That's funny you read that. Brought that question because I was just thinking about that. About obviously they've lost a bunch of people, but that also means like, well, two things. First, Mayu couldn't have been cheap. Tam couldn't have been cheap. They got a lot of money that they can go like get some really good people like Chohiro, like I don't know, maybe make Sayori stop wrestling and every other company pay her more money. No, but they got a lot of people they could hire. Chi-Chi, I like Chi-Chi a few times I've seen her. And then the two stars I would think that they could make really big are Ami. Well, three: Hanako, Ami, and Kurara.
Wow, well done. Those are all great. Yeah, I agree with every bit of those. Who'd have thought? We're on the same page when it comes to 98% of the stuff. My really thing was when it comes to a hole for
Thecla's not
talent.
cheap.
Goddamn right. Do you see her Instagrams? Like she's always in some kind of 8-star resort sipping Mai Tais, and it's all in her rider, like only green M&Ms and sugary drinks by the pool. Not with that body, probably non-sugary drinks by the pool. But I would say, as far as a hole in the roster, like Mayu is the greatest of all time, but her like she's. This sounds stupid, knowing that. Like what I'm gonna say, I know it sounds stupid.
She hasn't done anything for Stardom in the past like 2 years. Over 2 years.
I'm so glad you said that, because I was gonna preface that exact comment by saying this is gonna sound stupid considering she's the longest reigning IWGP champion of all time. So obviously something was happening. But yeah, as far as like
what has she done
our
for
main
Stardom?
events, Yeah, so, like, I don't miss that. I mean, she does is great matches, but a lot of it is tags and stuff like that, and is she gonna be missed? Of course she is. But,
Yeah.
I don't feel like her being gone's gonna hurt that much. I feel the same way, unfortunately. I I almost now this might be blasphemy. I almost feel, and just because like I love her promos and all the crazy stuff she brings to it, but I almost would miss Thekla more. But it's not like she was part of anything. Thekla almost always just went into business for herself. Grab a mic, start swearing, and get the internet going.
Yeah.
And then Mina. I mean, I don't feel any. I was half surprised she even came back this year for a couple months.
Dude, I have forgotten that Mina even left.
Uh,
Like, not to go on a tangent, but it's like she started like appearing on AEW, and it's like, okay, I get it. They're gonna take you off like the Stardom shows so that you can travel to America. They don't want to like have you, all right, jet to America now, jet back for the next show in 2 days. But it's like, just because you're doing like two Dynamite shows, does that mean you don't have to show up to Stardom for 3 months? I mean, with the amount of money they were paying her, they were probably happy to see her go, to be honest. And they still gave her a
yeah,
nice
and if
send off.
that's probably the only thing about Mayu leaving probably wouldn't like, is that they not only I mean, not only what okay, not only was there not like the big send off where you let everyone on the roster whip your ass. The only way that would have been good is if Mayu super kicked everyone on her way out. But wasn't even really a stars goodbye. I mean, I guess technically, I mean everyone was crying during the match, so I guess you could assume something was happening if you were paying attention. But she just sort of never appeared in the ring again. She just said after the show, "Yeah, I'm good," and then during the press conference, "Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do." And then, as you covered, 2 days later,
Dude, is it
"Hi
and
guys."
are you kidding me? Like, yeah, I'm sure it's just a coincidence that Mayu is leaving Stardom like a month before Marigold has like their biggest show, like their anniversary show. I think it's like the 25th. It's like so it doesn't no proof of this, but she like clearly said she wanted out of her contract and that's why she lost the title and then she was gone like the next day. And the press conference seemed really nice, but there's definitely something weird happened behind the scenes. Because yeah, you don't get
Yeah,
Mayu just doesn't say okay bye bye like without a retire like a send off show.
yeah. I mean, it's just unless she didn't care, and Okada. This Okada seems like whatever Mayu wanted, Mayu got. And from the press conferences, we covered this a lot last week, but it seemed like they were friendly and everything left amicably. Real quick, be one more thing, and this actually was from a couple days ago, and it's from Jory too. But this sort of is the same sentiment that's worth bringing up, and I'm sure it'll come up with the uh, power rankings, and like if we're filling a void, who's going to do it. But before I read Jory's thing, on the last results show is the that we posted on StardomFan.com's YouTube. Um, Lots of comments, but what's interesting about them is that a lot of Japanese comments. And since the Tower of Babel was rebuilt thanks to the internet, we can read them all. There's no language barrier anymore. What I find interesting, it's the Kurara phenomenon in general is basically 50-50. I think me, you, and the Stardom fans, like basically our Stardom fan family and our Discord family, um, all in on Kurara.
Yeah,
It seems like the rest of the world, or at least the people posting, are half and half. And here's a take, if you will. I mean, you could just tell him you're wrong because I think he is, but that's okay. You can still disagree with people you like. But Jory writes a comment that seems to be half the opinions out there. One last comment. You have to hand it to Saya. This is about the Saya Kurara title match. And now there has been two singles matches, and Kurara is 0-2 against Saya. Will she get that win this year? One last comment. You have to hand it to Saya. She really, that's a lot. talk we don't always really like, but she really sold the match with Carrara. I didn't think it would be that compelling. You won't hear me say it was anywhere near as good as Tam and Saya. I don't know, but it was decent, and Carrara didn't look as out of place as I thought she would. Um, competing for the, or as he thought she would competing for the red belt. That being said, I think it would be a big mistake to have a series of matches with them, even though the audience loves the story development because Saya is not going to lose that belt anytime soon, and Carrara is simply not ready to wear it. My 2 cents worth. And thanks for writing your opinion, but you're wrong. No, Jory. Do you have anything you want to say? Because I think me and you are going to agree with most of this. And he was nice enough to write, and I thought it'd be nice enough just to sort of reply.
I mean, those are all good points, but I could. This is my favorite quote that I like to use for wrestling. Carrara doesn't have to be better than Saya Kamatani. She just has to be better than Saya Kamatani for 3 seconds.
And boy, in that match, I thought she had it. You're right.
Also,
And
people, that's just like a natural thing. Like, oh, Carrara's not ready. I'm like, okay, but like it's like any wrestler. It's like, oh, you just see them as like a show opener or a mid card guy. You're like, oh, they're not ready for the world title. And then it's like you're Jey Uso and you win the world title, and guess what? You're the world champion, and now you're a main eventer. So it's like, of course you're saying she's not ready for it because she's not in the main event. But if she beats Saya and she's in the main event, well, I guess she's ready for it, right?
dude, I mean, I don't.
Not just Saya, like
It's a,
any mid card or low card wrestler. Like the second, it does always feel weird when they start winning matches, and then you're like, whoa, and then eventually you just kind of like get used to it. Like, oh yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, but this is also isn't out of nowhere. I mean, it was quite the build, right? Like sort of after being groomed by Tam, and then the Cinderella's huge.
Yeah.
And then I mean, there has always been this little, I don't know, a feud, Carrara trying to bring Saya back to the light side and stuff like that. It actually seems like I thought Saya was going to try to bring Carrara to the dark side. She just doesn't seem to care about that. She just cares about herself right now. She's a selfish girl, it seems. But yeah, I think I agree with. I mean, I can understand why he's making the point. And actually, the reason I read this is because, like, outside of our Discord, you can go on StardomFan.com for the link or in the show notes. Like, it's almost an echo chamber, right? It's like I like Carrara, you love Carrara, our Discord loves Carrara, everyone must. So to get like Jory's opinion and half the chat's opinion on YouTube, which is like half is like Carrara's gonna win, and the other half is like Carrara's just a child that Saya's gonna stomp. You know, it's literally half and half. It's really interesting. To
That's
which makes
just
me think if it's that dynamic, I think they should keep going. And I actually wrote like I was watching the that title match and the Kurara, Kurara. Yo, I mean that crowd.
dude.
I actually wrote when Kurara wins this belt, like the place is going to erupt. They're going to have to like it's going to measure on the Richter scale on as like a Taylor Swift concert.
You know, the more we talk about this, and this is not just me being my favorite wrestler, it's like Carrara better be the person that beats Saya. I don't care if Saya has a Roman Reigns 3 year long title reign. Carrara better be the one that beats her ass. She's got to. They're both like, you can't retire Tam Nakano and then not have her other protege like beat you.
No, I think you're to get the revenge. Yeah, I know she's sort of failed so far.
Also, speaking
Um,
of like the heart, like we're talking about Mayu, like the heart of the company. You think about it, Tam's the one. Like Kurara and Saya are like the two hottest
one
things,
sec.
and that's because
Hey, what's
of
up?
Tam. I can't think of like Stars basically doesn't even exist now that
Oh, Joe,
Mayu's
what's up?
gone.
And now it's power ranking time, or as this ended up being, just sort of grouping the girls in different tiers or teams. Enjoy.
I,
Yeah.
I went ahead and made the executive decision that the C tier is like the top tier. Obviously,
Oh well, yeah, that goes without saying.
we still have to name our tiers and maybe add a tier or two, but I've just been kind of like breaking them down a little bit. Right now, I have like the kind of like the rookie tier, but that probably can change that name. Then we have like so far I have like low tier, like mid card, like main eventers. Then of course Lady C at the top.
Before I had to step away, I was going to suggest, Juno, that hopefully maybe there was a couple ground rules because although we agree on most, I also think this is probably the most we have ever disagreed on a lot of stuff, which is okay, but we need to have, like, if I think someone's number one and you think someone's 25, we either need help from the chat or we just take the average and put her at 12 and a half.
Well, that's great because right now there's only 5 tiers.
Well, I'm assuming we can at least agree on which tiers to go from, and then we could probably next week for part 2 break this down into actual numbers. Top 10s, top 20s, because those are also a good time too.
Yeah. I mean, they could always, get shifted like where they are, where like, close to like, left to right is like if you're on the all the way right, you're on the bottom of that tier, or maybe vice versa, whatever. Oh, wait, perfect. So we got the S tier. We have the Saya tier. But who do you want to start with?
Well, let's start.
Oh, I guess I could say
you already
so.
made the bottom.
To start first, I had at the top we got the C tier so far, Lady C. Then like main event, the Saya tier, S tier. We got Saya. Then to me, like Hazuki is like the perfect example of like a mid carder.
Yeah, like upper mid, right? Like,
Yeah.
can you just plug her in anywhere, but
Yeah,
can't win the big one unless she's in America.
makes sense. She's like she can move down and like help out her buddy Koguma in like the opening match, or she can main event for a red or white belt.
I was gonna say, put some respect on that name of the Spark Joshi champion.
And then I kind of had low, but then this is why we have to, rename the tiers. Because then I had like opening show, like low card stuff. But then below that, I had like the rookies. But we have people that aren't even rookies. Like right now, I had like Rana Yagami and Rianne. Like I don't think they're rookies. Also, like Yuria Himi's pretty great, but I don't know if I don't know.
He
You could
has
tell me.
moments. I have a
She's definitely.
feeling.
I feel like she's definitely above the other rookies. I'll say that.
I agree because I think she's sort of. We've seen her a lot
Asaki tier.
more. I'm thinking like it's definitely right now. Yuria is Stardom fans' favorite rookie of 2025. But I do have a feeling with this new class coming in, maybe the Sahama Bay, Rian. I mean, I could see her being ousted, but right now she's still the top rookie.
I do really like Rianne, but that's just me personally.
Well, I do too. They both have. Well, one, I mean, that shows her personality, sort of having fun drinking with Micah, which is a good time. And Himi is hot and cold. Like I love some of her stuff, and then but I mean, she's new, so when she's in a singles match, it's not all great. But what are you gonna do? She's a rookie, right?
Yeah.
She can be the favorite rookie right now. You called the artist formerly known as Yuzuki is a favorite, and you called Kurara a favorite. So you have a very good taste in rookies.
Thank you. I just picked the one that's the best. What do you want to call the bottom tier? The rookie tier doesn't feel right because there's not rookies in it, but that's basically what it is. What do you think, chat?
Yeah, it's cool.
Call it the rookie tier for now.
Yeah, let's keep it there, and then we'll just, what? It's almost easy to group them by how you want to group them with. So whose head is cut off there? Ruaka?
Yeah.
So who would be in the Ruaka tier? Tora.
Oh, we can call this one. How do you
hate minus Saya and Rina. Everyone else in hate.
We call this tier Raka's box.
Yeah.
The B tier.
BRB. Raka's B tier.
Raka's box, yeah. Oh, cool. I have another. Oh, that's Konami. That's Raka. Apparently, they got
Have you
similar
been reading
gears.
it out the who we have in the D plus players tier? Who those rookies are? Have you read their names out just for the audio? I want to get a good audio one up this week too. Assuming we even know their names.
Yeah, I can't pronounce their names. Like we got Uriah Himi, Hamambe, Hamabe, something,
I was
Matomi,
saying Hamabe, so one of us might be right.
Hamabe, Matomi, and then, jeez, I don't know how to say this girl's name. Call her Anne. Anne.
And Kanaya.
It's probably wrong, but then
I
we
know
got
there might be something weird with the translation. There's no way her name is as simple as Anne.
Akira, who's like the best member of Suzu's group, Rian, and right now Rani Yagami. So
Do
far.
you mind breaking in for discussions while we do this? I know we don't want this to go 3 hours, but this what's fun about this is that it sparks a couple of things. Because one, I liked Akira, and we've never really liked Suzu. However, what do you think of Suzu's faction right now?
It's bad. Like,
But
there's,
like
I gotta see her name. I was watching one other match.
My Crazy Life or something, right?
Yeah, My Crazy Life. Like, the first thing I thought is like, I don't like Suzu, and then this Aoki girl is just like, I literally had the thought, I'm like, oh my god, they're cloning Suzu. So they're just
Where did
loud
these
and
other two girls
annoying.
come from?
I do like
Yeah,
Akira though.
Yamashita. Yeah, I
Yamashita,
like
Rina
Akira too.
Yamashita, I think is like a deathmatch wrestler.
Makes sense.
I don't know about this Aoki girl, but Akira I like.
Well, what scares me is I'm wondering if Suzu's teammates there are full timers or not, because she's spending a lot of time teaming up with FWC and a lot of the shows. So FWC doesn't have a faction, and Suzu sort of has a faction. But the positive I would bring out of this, to actually say something positive about Suzu, is she did not belong in Neo Genesis. I think like that's not a stretch to say if Neo Genesis was built for the fun-loving children, and then kid, we're just here to have fun and be crazy, and then there's like Suzu, like one
Yeah.
of these things was definitely not like the other.
I mean, but can't you say that about every group? Like, all right, well, Hate's a pretty good group. They're not very fun to be around.
Well, there is something about them like looking and being yeah, like Suzu's group. I mean, they've been teaming up together. When they're all in the ring together, they all, I mean, like them or not, they all look like they're on the same team. They
Neo
just look like a shitty team.
Genesis doesn't go together at all.
Are you kid? They're all fluorescent and tattooed.
Yeah, they all do have the tattoos you get from a cereal box. That is true. Suzu, I think, went and got a real tattoo for a new group. I hope they don't get rid of it after 6 months. Enex's V doesn't go together. You got, well, I guess Rian now is like a drinker, but it's like, what does Waka, Rian, and Hanako have in common? I mean, they're like the party, I guess.
They drink Sapporos. How do you like that Xena is still on that roster page for Nexus V?
I thought it was like a visa thing, but like chat was saying that it was like a knee injury.
She's injured, right?
Yeah.
The other question is, why is this even still the V? Why don't we just call the Empress Nexus?
Well, here's the thing: is if the V is gone and the E is gone for a year, like rehabbing with surgery, do we just like call up Wade Barrett because all we're left with is the Nexus or CM
Why?
Punk?
Well done. Why can't Micah why don't they do like a manager role? Because right now Micah is on commentating with Ami, and she's gonna end up getting comfortable. Ami's gonna be like, "Listen, I've been healthy for 6 months now, and they think I'm still getting a full paycheck for being on commentary. We might never see Micah again if they keep letting her do commentary. We need to get her a manager. Just put on a shirt and tie. Micah's the wise man, right? Let's go."
No, you started me off on a little tangent here, but it's like God's Eye. Like Sherry's is a badass, likes to beat people up. So does Ami. Is a badass, likes to beat people up. Like I like Ami wrestles like a big girl. Hina does a freaking jackhammer and a spear, and she's Anaba is a kicker. At least Lady C is really big, but what does Rani Yagami and Saki Kashima have to do with God's Eye?
Oh, Rana's a butt kicker, and she's a drummer.
And then Saki got like adopted like a puppy when on the street.
I was gonna say the only people that don't fit are the people that didn't start the group, like the Queen's Quest and the Kashima. Although you are right, I could see Hina goes good with them.
Cosmic Angels is just the perfect group. Like,
Yeah, they are.
That's not
still,
true.
and they still are.
They were perfect with Tam, and yeah, now they're still perfect.
But no, like, yeah, no, they're slightly, yeah, they're still up there.
And Stars is gonna fall apart in 6 weeks.
Stars?
Yeah,
but
Mayu,
the leader.
Mayu was such a bad leader that she just dipped without telling anybody, and the group fell apart.
If I may, to touch on the Korakuen show, one, we have the results on the YouTube, and all like 40 comments are about obviously the main event, Kurara and Saya, and then there's one person who writes like heart, 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 good luck, Hanan. To which I'm watching this, and all of a sudden the match is over. Hanan's crying, FWC's crying, and I'm like, what is happening? FWC take a bow. This is after their match at Korakuen. The Stars, they were on the same team, and I watched this whole match because I was actually fascinated. I'm like, I wonder if this is after like the fall, after the pay-per-view where they had their title match. I'm like, I wonder if this Stars team is gonna be able to teamwork and be friendly together. And they were actually a pretty good team. And then after the match, everyone's crying. They're taking the mic. I don't understand what they're saying. FWC's crying. Hanan's crying. Actually, Kogama's crying. Hazuki's just like, yeah, whatever. And then FWC bows and then leaves the ring separately. And I'm like, what is happening? I'm like thinking, oh, we need to update StardomFan.com. Hazuki just quit. What is happening? And then I hurry up and I go and grab some translations. And basically it was, Hanan takes the mic and says, Stars is having a shakeup and I'm the new leader. And then to which Hazuki takes the mic and says, if you're the new leader, we're out of here. And they laughed. I was like, oh, that was way funnier than the emotions looked. It is hilarious. Hazuki being a little prick sometimes. She was just like, I'll tell you what.
So is that real?
Bye-bye.
Is Hazuki is Hazuki old school? Like I know, like she really doesn't like Hanan that much.
I have a feeling. I'm starting to think that the old
Hazuki's
clip
a little prick
that
sometimes.
you have on the yeah, where I mean, now it's all starting to make sense. This goes way back to the cage match with, and then Thekla like ripping everybody and Stars and just saying like she has something to say like about everyone, and she just says Hazuki's a little prick sometimes. Yeah. To which that has been an ongoing joke. But true. I don't think it's a joke anymore.
Yeah.
I think Hazuki's a prick. And I love it. Pretty cool. And put some respect on that Spark Joshi champion. All right, thanks for the tangent.
Our tier list. I named the bottom tier so far as like the D+ players.
I like it.
It's kind of like a Daniel Bryan joke, maybe. See, that wasn't your time. Like all the people wanted Daniel Bryan. It was like Occupy Wall Street or whatever. All the people were rioting. They wanted Daniel Bryan to be in the main event. Then Stephanie's like, "You're good, but you're not like a top tier guy. You're like a B+ kind of guy, like a B+ player."
I like it. Well, I'll tell you, and it's worth saying too.
And then I think he beat Randy Orton and
Stardom
Triple H the same night.
Mid card anywhere. Did he? Oh, that's great.
You know who else did something like that? That's a really good feat. The only thing better is like, the only person who's ever beaten The Rock and Stone Cold in the same night?
Chris Jericho.
Man of 1,000 moves. 1,001 moves, sorry. What
All
were you
right,
saying?
Ruaka's box tier. Who would you put around the same as Ruaka? And I think that's pretty easy. Obviously, Tora.
I would first of all, I would move like Rihanna up, maybe even like Uriah Hemi. They're not like,
Really?
yeah, I mean, they're not like to me.
Oh, there. You know what? There almost should be like a C minus, like an in between tier here, because you're right. They're not quite the lowest, but they're not quite Ruaka's box.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like Raka's box is like they're probably better than Raka, but
Yeah, but not with the box.
I, I almost want to move like Raka's box down a tier.
Easy, easy, easy. We'll wait and see.
Just start anywhere. How about FWC? Your favorites? Like they're on the screen with you. Where do you want to put Koguma? I'll just like throw. I mean, you could throw her
She's
up there
grown on me
with
in
Hazuki.
the yeah in the past before became a part of the Akuma fan club. I like if Hazuki was, and she has made our top 10 list before. If you have let that happen with the right amount of bribes, if we got Hazuki to be 10, Kokomo was never above 20. But now they are such a good team. They are entwined. They are basically their own faction of FWC. They are definitely in the main event ish tier.
Dude, and you're probably never gonna see them in Stardom again.
No, they're still wrestling. That was one of the first things she said when she told she was like, I'm done. She first thing she said was, I do want to go elsewhere. Obviously, I'm the Spark Joshi World Champion. Everyone wants a piece of this. However, she also like said, I'm not leaving Stardom. I mean, she said that right there. She just
Well,
said fuck stars. She said fuck Kanan, fuck stars. I'm taking my sweatshirt with me.
yeah, but isn't that like a thing where it's like I'm not quitting, but I'm also gonna make like the boss's job hell until he fires me?
No, that's what Thekla did.
Oh, I think he was cool with getting beat up by Thekla. It's just that she wouldn't pay the fine. Every single comment from like the president and Thekla was like none of it was related to him getting choked out with his own tie and like spanked or whatever. It was like that she didn't pay her fine. I feel like, by the way, a row below that, um, Bobby Hill has to go with her tag team partner Uraka.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like Rocca way better than Tora, but yeah, they're definitely in the same tier.
Also, you just tell me that you can just pick a person when you want. This one is your head got cut off. This is Konami. You might as well get her out. Anyone else got their head cut off? Yeah, we can tell who the rest are. All right, this is
I
Konami.
like Konami in the Rocca's box tier. I don't
It's just
I know a
this is
lot of
just
this, you know,
Tio
this is
Edo
the
type.
start this is this yeah, this is the Stardom fan tier list, which doesn't necessarily mean anything more than where do we like you? But quite frankly, I mean, what has she done? We've covered this. She screwed her partner to
She
give up
was
her own tag team title to do what? What has she done?
she has brain damage. What do you want from her?
Yeah, yeah, that's what she gets for her troubles. Is she got knocked the fuck out in 3 seconds? Just got knocked the out.
Do you want to continue? Like, does on this train? What about
I wish there
Fukigen?
was a Ruaka's box plus tier because I think Fukigen is not a. But I don't know. I'm a Fukigen fan. She gets a win every now and again, and she had a great couple great matches this year. Whenever she gets a singles match, she had a good.
She's
Oh, she's not up there with FWC though. I mean, if there's a choice between the Ruaka's box
well,
tier or tier A,
she's not as good as Hazuki, but she's kind of as good as Koguma.
so the average.
If you
So
think
the
about
average
it,
of FWC together.
if you do like a
So
singles
she
match,
boy.
if you do a singles match, dude, if you okay, let me word it this way: if you put Koguma in the clown outfit with the makeup, you wouldn't be able to tell a difference, but unless like the other one started kumaing. They have the same exact singles matches. They're usually pretty
Fair
good.
enough.
They're high speed geniuses. So she boy.
I almost feel like we need a another tier in there, but we'll see how this goes.
You could give me another tier.
Well,
you gotta name you if you want to make. Well, that's a rule. If you're gonna make a tier, you have to name it. What is above a D plus player but below Raka's B tier?
no. Below A,
Well, you
but
made the.
above Rocket's box.
All right. Well, first we have to
Oh,
name
that
this
one
tier.
there.
Yeah. First we
Oh,
have to name. Basically, we had a
the new-
rookie class, and then they're like if you're like a really good rookie or you're a little above that.
How about Beer Princess? It's like beer money.
Beer money. I just call it beer money.
I like it.
That's probably about as much as they get paid. Oh my god, that seems like
isn't a special
by the way,
attraction. However, she can also have a great match.
Now these tiers the names make no sense, but it's great. But if Micah ever did if the Micah ever did an interview, and I bet if we had Micah on Stardom Fan to do an interview, there's like a 50 or 60% chance you're like, so Micah, why do you even wrestle? Is it like, do you like the competition? Like, do you like having like being in front of the cameras and having fans? She'd be like, I don't know, I just do it for the beer money. Beer princess tier. Beer money or beer princess? Beer princess is pretty funny. Kind of ruined my thing of having everything have like a letter like S through or A through whatever, but that's okay.
Beer money's a tag team. Yeah, that's what I was trying to conjure up.
I think we
that
was
one of Juno's favorite tag teams.
Beer
glorious,
dude. The last Outlaw, James Storm, and glorious.
All right, I feel like there's another tier between Raka's box and the A tier.
Dude, Bobby Roode hit James Storm in the face with a beer bottle, and the glass like blinded him. And as a kid, that like traumatized me. TNA is like the greatest thing that no one's ever watched. I'm gonna still die on that hill.
It is.
It's like I can't say.
Because I never watched it, but every time you show me a clip, it's the greatest thing I've never seen.
It's like Schrodinger's. I can't say that scientist's name. Like Schrodinger's cat. It's like TNA is the greatest thing you've never seen, and then you open the box and you watch it, and it's like dog shit. But if you just look at like the best of, it's the greatest wrestling you've ever seen.
It's like the end of an NFL team season. You know how like every team puts up their highlights. Like even if you're a hapless 2-16 or whatever, they'll still show your highlight reel for 15 minutes. You're like, oh my god, we were amazing. How do we only win 2 games?
Like here comes the boom. Yeah. How does every team do that? It's like every team, even if they're the Browns and they start, you're right. Like they have one win like the year before. Like they do their highlight video in preseason. You're like, this is our year. That's why football's the best sport ever. Besides pro wrestling. All right.
And tennis.
Tennis season. Is Micah a beer princess?
Well, no. So here's obviously.
But that means you probably have to move this tier up.
Well, we'll go. Well, it's a law of averages at this point. We'll go. But here's my issue.
Is a one-armed Micah is a one-armed Micah better than a two-armed Raka or Tora? Probably.
Can you move entire columns, or do you have to do do a whole? Because okay, good. Well, hold on. Go back one, because right now it could work like this until Suzu goes into Ruaka's box tier. Now, I think we might have.
You think Suzu? Suzu's at like as like D plus for me.
With the rookies, she at least she's the leader of a group.
She's the second worst member of her group. Okay, so
you haven't even seen 2 of her 4 people. Yeah, I think doesn't that make sense? Doesn't she seem like right there with those dummies?
We definitely at least got to move the beer princess tier up one then for sure.
All right, so for audio, this is how we're going. We're talking through tiers here. On the lowest level, we're calling it D plus players, and then the next level up is the Ruraka's box tier, which we have Ruraka, Tora, Economy, and Suzu. A tier up from that is Beer Princess. Are you tracking? If you're not, you can go on YouTube, StardomFan.com, and click on the YouTube and watch this. We got Yuri Hime. Who's the new Beer Princess? Uh,
Rianne.
yeah, Rianne and Micah, obviously. And then the A tier is FWC and Fukigen. And then we have our main tier is the Saya tier. It could be simple for us, right? And then above that, of course, is the Lady C tier because she's just the greatest wrestler in the world, basically. Um, it might be easier right now to go into the Saya tier. Who are the main eventers? Who can you see? Because
Well, hang
I
on.
think
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say like we have to still name the Hazuki tier, but well, we could save that till you start filling it out.
well, it could even be something as simple as like, I mean, red belt, white belt, or red challenger, white challenger, or something like that. Because that's how I sort of think about it. Like the top tier is who do you see can fight for go against Saya for the red belt, and the second highest tier, I could see like who do you think would be going against Starlight Kid for her white belt?
Oh yeah, let's get Starlight Kid. Where's Starlight Kid? Did I even have a Starlight Kid picture here? Yes. Of course, the mass
Oh.
wrestler had her face cut off. Oh, that sounds weird for audio. The top of the picture got cut off. Are they the same tier? I guess.
No, I was thinking she was down one. That's what I mean. So if we have a Saya tier, I think we should have a Starlight tier. Red belt, white belt. And that's how I think in my mind it makes sense for, the main eventers. Like who do you think is able to you think will challenge for the red belt, and who do you think makes sense to challenge for the white belt?
But I don't even think Starlight belongs in our own tier then. Starlight's like
But no, I mean, well, that's fine. I think put her down with Hazuki and Ogama.
no. What I mean is if I make it all right. So like if I make a new tier below the Saya tier for like a Starlight tier, Starlight
Hmm.
tier is like at least one row below that, below like the white belt tier. I don't care if she's white belt champion. I think she's pretty average.
Yeah, well, you just remember though, you didn't when she was collecting souls.
Yeah, because the wrestling didn't change, but now she's like a happy-go-lucky good guy when she should be, I don't know, stepping on people's throats,
Well, then if you
keying their cars.
well then just put her right with Hazuki.
Dude, let me ask you this: when is the last time Starlight Kid tried to run somebody over with a car? Because I can count the last time Saya ran somebody over with a car, and it was like 6 days ago.
Does that, does that prove or disprove your point?
I don't know. Who can
I
we?
mean, just all this does right here for the tier is like sort of. I think this just helps us for now, put us in a spot for put a little respect on that belt too. So we got sort of a red belt tier, a white belt tier, the Saya, the kid tier, and you know maybe if during the tiers, if there's a rankings within the tiers, maybe
Oh,
maybe she goes to the back of her own tier because maybe people like
oh yeah, it's definitely left to right.
Rena, maybe people like Ami should be ahead of her in that tier. Maybe people like Hazuki should be ahead of her. So now,
Oh, let's start with some lower tier people too. Like what about like Waka? Is she a D plus player? Probably.
beer money.
No, not that good.
She pops the bubbly. What happened to Waka?
She won a
We
match.
said
It's the only time in history a wrestler won a match and then fell off.
we back forever ago, we said Waka is the best wrestler to not win a match. The second we called wrongly, if that's a word, the second that Waka wins a match, she is going to get the rocket strap to the moon. What happened? What happened? What happened to Waka? She turned into the party planner for Enex's Venus, popping the bubbly in the ring.
Yeah. Like I said, she won a match and then she just fell off.
See, now I my problem with this tier is I actually like Baraka. I was going to say the Baraka's box tier was sort of people I don't like, but I like Waka. But you're right. Baraka is as good as Suzu. Azumi.
Can Azumi get her own tier? You know, at the bottom.
How low do you want to go?
She kind of deserves her
I
own
don't
tier.
I don't hate Azumi anymore.
That's because you don't have to watch her anymore. You've always just skipped her Neo Genesis matches unless she's fighting Starlight.
I watched her whole Starlight match. I like that.
I said unless she's fighting Starlight.
I always root against her, that's for sure.
This
The
is
Cybercat tier.
the AZM tier.
AZM is now the lowest rated tier, audio listeners.
From A to C.
From A to AZM. from Lady C to AZM tier. That's right. Only a Stardom fan is Lady C at the top of the ranking and AZM at the bottom.
It's a pyramid scheme.
Oh, you wrote Chris. You woke up Chris with this one. AZM is a strong champion. She's the strong champion. She won. I don't watch that shit.
The strong belt.
She beat Sasha Banks.
No,
that belt's still a thing.
No, I think
or she beat Julia.
She beat like Mina or something. Sasha Banks never lost. Sasha Banks never loses.
Does that mean Azumi gets to go to AEW too, and I don't get to see her anymore?
Wouldn't that be sad?
Dude, what the fuck? She pins Mina. She never pinned Mina in Stardom. All of a sudden, they go piss off in wherever this New Japan Strong show was. And magically, she pins Mina for a belt that wasn't even Mina's.
They wanted the belt to enter the country one more time. She's the champion. She's the champion for a show that doesn't exist, for a women's division that never existed. Right?
If we're gonna
Strong didn't Strong get canceled?
There's still like a men's Strong championship too. It's basically just for the quarterly pay-per-view.
But it's for a show that got canceled. For a division they never had. They never had a strong women's division. They just had a strong women's champion.
Well, they made up a belt to give Sasha Banks $1 million.
She's like literally I think
7.
She might literally be the only woman that's ever been on their roster.
Until Mayu?
But at least the IWGP belt is like a New Japan belt. I don't know what a New Japan Strong is. That's not a thing.
No, you're right. It's a pandemic era show that was canceled once people are like, oh, we can go to arenas now? Bye.
We haven't put a Momo Kogo anywhere yet.
Beer Princess.
I don't think she has had a carb.
Well, I'm starting to think of the Beer Princess as sort of like right in the middle sort of tier type of thing. She's better than the Baraka's Box Girls, but she's not quite his FWC tier.
Hanako is definitely above a Beer Princess.
Yeah, I love Hanako. She's A tier. I mean, she is a new blood champion with Waka as her partner. Unless she lost it on the last show. I don't know. I don't like new blood either.
Can we get a tier, like a big girl tier? Who's in there? Hanako, Ami. That's really it. Hanako and Ami.
Watanabe, the Hanan sisters.
No, they're not that big.
Hina wrestles big.
She does. Do you want to put them in a tier? Do you want to put the sisters in a tier?
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited. the Hanan sister tier. Now, where do we enter it? Under Starlight
I
tier,
can.
above?
It's okay. So we have Hanako and Ami in a tier with the Rena sisters, I should say, not Hanan sisters.
Easy.
Actually, Hina's.
We're not. We don't call them. We don't call them the Luigi brothers.
We should. Luigi's the better one. Listen, we can be diplomatic. Some want to say the Rena sisters. Some say Hanan sisters. The only fair thing is to call it the Hina sisters.
The bloodline.
Yes.
The real bloodline. Enigma's working on my Hanan flag.
So if
we were having a discussion in Discord. I don't know if you caught it. If we were to, if with us shake up us stars, if Hanan was just like, all right, I'm the leader of this whole bloodline, and like they could really, and I wouldn't even be mad, and nor should you be because it was great. Literally redo the last 5 years of the bloodline with the Hanan sisters. Hanan's the leader. Eventually, they throw her out. She has to fight for the leader. Like, you could really do the entire thing all over again. However, this is where the discussion
Dude,
came in.
we have like twins.
Yes, exactly. They are.
But then we have to go
bloodline.
back. Then we have to go back because we need at least like 6 Hina Arena tag team runs.
Well, I need to know. But what I need to know is who's the wise man in this scenario. We were wondering, well, is Lady C the wise man, or Saida? Maybe, you know, the Wing Cory.
I was gonna say
you put Saida in a.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if this is the bloodline, if this is the bloodline, does that make Saida like the honorary use?
This is the great. You're not feeling very Hanani.
Well, she can.
This is the greatest tier ranking in the history of Stardom fan.
There you go. She can be the best bloodline member. That's fine. Do we need?
At least to start, as our fan fiction story rolls, eventually the attitudes are going to clash, and Rena's going to want to take over. You know.
Wait a minute. Wait,
which one's not going to feel too loosey? We need a Sami Zayn, a goofy part of the group. Is that where Kashima fits in?
Has Hina ever been in a group with Fukigen? Because that seems like our wise woman right there.
Fukigen?
Or Saki Kashima? Saki Kashima? Saki Kashima. Yeah. She's been with all of them, right?
Yeah. She's like the.
And she never wants to fight. She's always like the one. Yeah,
she's like
orders.
The Sami Zayn of the group, you know, just sort of goofy, wants to belong.
I was thinking she was the wise woman.
Oh, really? Because I was on the exact opposite.
It's up for artistic interpretation.
This is literally went from a power ranking to like how the new faction should shake up.
Just Ami and Hanako by themselves. Well, can they go in the Lady C tier then?
I mean, if we're gonna have a big girl tier, it only makes sense. All right, audio listeners, we'll recap at the end. But what's happening here is the Lady C tier is turned into a big girl tier.
We could still come up with. We got to come up with this name for the Hazuki tier.
Wild and crazy.
Oh,
pretty cool.
FW clowns? I don't question.
Yes, that's what the C has always stood for.
FW clowns.
Are you down with the clowns?
Oh, don't get me started on ICP. Yeah, you know me. Still got a couple big hitters here. Do you want to get like a pineapple out of the way? Because I feel like the rest of them could be pretty interesting. No offense to the pineapple.
All right. Well, if we're thinking about, I like the pineapple, but if we're thinking about skill level, I'm thinking Beer Princess or Raka's Box.
Above a rook, I actually kind of like her.
I like her too. I like her a lot, and she's had some great matches. She had the special singles match recently too. Like she's been all right. Oh, and you got your pineapple glasses on.
She's not a beer princess, and she's not in the bloodline.
Well, Chris has a vote for beer princess. Well, she's
Then
not as
again,
high as a clown.
then again, if Momo Kogo can be a beer princess, why can't a pineapple?
Do you think Yuna is better than Komomo?
Sorta.
Hey, I agree. I just wanted to hear you say it first. Because
Fair
she's
enough.
another one. I couldn't stand her. And for some reason, Tam says, listen, if you want to join the Angels, you're too big, get in shape, and get good. And then what did she do? She got in shape and she got good. And I'm like, she's really good now. And she definitely toned down the crazy. Either she toned down the crazy like pineapple junk, or I got used to it. But when she first showed up, I was like, oh, this is, oh, I can't do it. The first time she showed up, I think it was in like one of those battle royals, and I'm like, what are we watching?
Now that I'm looking at it, this is not even a tier list anymore. We're just making new factions.
There's half and half happening here.
I feel
Well, it's still sort of tiered up, right? I think it still lines up.
I don't think Momo Kogo or the pineapple are beer princesses.
Well, that's because Micah throws it up. Like Micah is top tier, but I mean she's also hanging out with Rian. I mean Yuri Himi is
Yeah.
probably lower, but you know,
No.
like her.
You gotta look. It's like you gotta invest early. If you would have invested in the Carrara stock a year and a half ago, look where you'd be now.
So say it's like a keeper league in fantasy. You keep your low pick.
Yeah, you get 2 keepers a season.
All right, let's do this here. What do you? Why don't we do some top tier stuff? Who do we think could go up against Saya Kamatani in the main event picture right now?
Out of the people that are remaining, there's only
Remaining,
like
yep,
2. Because obviously we got Soriano.
I agree.
Do we gotta
Now
rename? Do we gotta rename the
she's
lady
like,
C tier, by the way, or is it just? It's big. It's just a big girl
didn't
tier.
they have a group together? Weren't they all like Lady Triple Towers or Tokyo?
Oh, I'm gonna
I
call
always
them.
get it mixed up what they were.
I'm gonna call them the Mega Towers.
The Mega Towers, the Lady C tier of Lady C, Ami, and Hanako.
The Mega Towers, like the
I
Mega
like it.
Powers,
Oh, we get it.
but better.
Now, you want Kurara in the top tier, or do you think Kurara settles down a little bit to the Starlight Kid tier, the white belt sort of tier?
Okay, I sorry.
And here's a question while you're thinking of
It's
that.
the Lady C tier, by the way. That's always the Lady C tier. I had to change it
Of
back.
course it is.
Can't change that. Can't change tradition. What are we
No, not
crazy?
at all. If Kurara almost beat Saya, can we assume that if Kurara's wish was to go for the white belt, she just would be the champion of right now?
Yeah, so she's better than the Starlight Kid tier. That makes sense.
I think I can see right now landing Kurara a tier below into the Starlight Kid tier. But I also don't hate her in the red belt tier, as we open the show saying. I think this is a program that should keep going. Would you do you have the ability to recap where we are right now for audio?
I can try. So
That's actually all I wanted. I thought it'd be so funny.
at the bottom, a baseline. We have the AZM tier. Then we have our
Well,
deep
that's a good way to put it. Yeah, it's just like, the baseline, the rock, the foundation, if you will.
the
It's not
bottom.
negative. The bottom.
The D plus
The basement.
players are above them. Rana Yagami, Akira, and then the other 2 rookies. I can't pronounce their names unless you want to try.
Nah.
Then we have the Raka's B tier. Oh, because we skipped the Lady C tier. The Lady C tier went to the top. So we went from D to B. Konami, Suzu, Waka Tsukiyama, Uraka, and Bobby Hill. Tora. Then, moving up a tier, we have the Beer Princesses, Yuria Hime, Rian, Momo Kogo. When I do names, I just like zone out. My brain's like, it's too many hard names to remember. Micah.
Well, I'm with you, especially as the night gets longer. That's why sometimes I throw it to you. I'm like, who's that?
Yuna Mizumori. Then moving up, we have the Bloodline. This one's self-explanatory. We have the three Hanan sisters, Hanan, or some would say the Rina sisters, Hanan, Rina, Hina, our honorary Us, Saida, and then the wise man, Saki Kashima, the puppet
Bloodline.
master behind the scenes. Then we have FWC, and the C stands for clowns, Koguma, Hazuki, and Fukigen Death. And then right now we have a Starlight Kid tier, White Belt tier with Starlight Kid. Then we have the Saya tier above that, the Red Belt tier, Saya, Kurara, and your favorite, Soriano. And then, of course, a tier above the rest, as is customary, Lady C in the Lady C tier, accompanied by the other two Tokyo Towers, Hanako and Magical Ami.
Yeah, dude. Great. And as we head into the final stretch here, I would like to shout out Chris. Was it Chris said it? Because I was waiting for you, but Chris said it first, and I'll bring it up. And I wanted to bring this up when we were talking about Kurara and the Red Belt run. I think Momo should be in the Saya tier, and there's a world where I can see Momo Watanabe. I don't know how they're going to build to this story unless maybe Momo wins the 5-star, but I can see Momo. I'd love to see Momo at least get a Red Belt chance, and I can see it, and she would have a great match.
But I feel like, wait, Momo Kogo?
Watanabe.
Oh, that makes more sense. But Momo Kogo.
Have you lost your mind, Komomo? I'm sure she would also have a great match, but Saya would kick the shit out of her.
But to me, Momo Watanabe is like solid beer princess, like middle of the pack.
No way. Momo Watanabe is so fucking good. She's just lazy.
Name one good match.
Momo versus Saya Kamatani 2023.
That hasn't been versus Saya Kamatani.
Wasn't that the Saya match?
No, I said name one good Momo match, and you can't say versus Saya Kamatani.
Well, that's exactly what we're talking about, because now Saya's the Red Belt champ. They'll have another great match once every 2 years. Let's rerun this shit.
Are you talking about, didn't they have like a 5-star match or something? I don't even know what match you're talking about.
Of course they did. Well, they had the match where Momo had the chance to stop Saya from breaking her streak.
Oh, right. No, she already passed her, and then she had the match, because that's how that made sense.
In only Momo fashion. Like, eh.
In Momo fashion, she was too lazy
She
to
woke
defend
up late.
her record.
All right, well, is this where
now
I
you
think
remind me,
Momo
if
should
you
be
guys don't remember that, Momo Watanabe, as people tell me, is the greatest white belt champion of all time, gets surpassed by Saya Kamatani as the greatest white belt champion of all time. Momo had like the record for defenses at like 13. Saya was creeping up on that record. She was at like 10, 11, 12. And everyone's like, oh, well, Momo's obviously going to get the tie-breaking match to try to defend her record. Nope. She ties the record and then passes the record. And then Momo decides she wants a shot. So that's true Momo fashion. But that's why she should be in the middle. She could have the best match of the night and main event a show, or she can be, I don't know, sleeping on the apron. That's why she's like solid mid card for me.
Well, I mean, this is why I think we needed the ground rules at the beginning. We could think of an average here. Enigma comes up to and says, also, what have you
Three
done for me
quarters.
lately, though? Momo matches, Momo versus Shuri 2022, Momo versus Mayu, Momo versus Mayu again. So I'm thinking, yeah, if I'm thinking the top and you're thinking Beer Princess, why don't we just put her with FWC clowns?
Okay.
I can actually see Momo. I can. I actually like this. Now, for a couple reasons. One, they would all have a great match together. FWC, the Clown, and Momo Watanabe. Also, if they ended up being a faction, now that the FWC could be like for Coke or whatever Momo's on.
The FW, what does the C stand for?
Wouldn't you also like to see Momo just whoop the shit out of Starlight, take the white belt, and then just throw it in the trash? Like, fuck this. I relinquish it.
What does the
This is a
C?
drag. I wanted to win it, but I don't want to defend it. That would be great.
It's also kind of like two badass ass kickers and their pets.
Yeah. I want to see a world where Hazuki and Momo are teaming up.
It's like Hazuki has to put up with Koguma, Momo has to put up with Fukigen.
I used to think that was true. Hazuki just put up with Koguma. They seem. She genuinely likes her.
Yeah.
I'm astonished. Either that or Koguma's literally the only person in the entire wrestling world that likes Hazuki.
Or this can be the FW blank, you fill in the C.
Oh.
Where does Aya belong? Actually, or how about where does what May belong? She's like a high speed. She's almost like a Starlight tier.
No way.
I could see her being in white belt. Oh, maybe that's like a high speed tier.
She could fit into Beer Princess.
No way.
Better? She had a
Yeah.
shitty match versus that CML girl, and it wasn't even her fault. She might as well have been wrestling a broomstick.
That match made me fall asleep. I was like watching
That match
live.
sucked, man.
Yeah.
I couldn't handle the 1 minute I clipped of it.
Poi. So you have Miyu, Shuri, Poi, Aya, and May.
You still think Poi is white belt material?
Yeah.
A couple Poi Starlight matches make sense to you. Now Shuri, right up into that Saya tier. So we're looking at. I think that makes sense to me. Shuri is. I have put Shuri as high as. Why let facts get in the way? But I believe Shuri has even been number one once on the Stardom Fan Power rankings. So to have, if we're gonna have the Saya tier, the red belt tier be Saya Kamatani, Kurara, Shuri, and the real effing cool Seriano, that is a great top four right there.
Well, top 7.
Yeah, assuming the lady seeds here, that's right.
Wait, that would mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Momo makes the top 10. Wow.
Or Hazuki.
Well, it's left to right.
You can't wrestle against the guy with the pencil.
You think it? I mean, I don't care.
Do I think Hazuki's better than Momo Watanabe every day of the week? I just made a case to put Momo up like in the second tier, and you wanted her down in Beer Princess. Now you want to not put her below the Spark Joshi champion.
I think the Bloodline is above the FWC tier, by the way. But that's neither here nor there.
Huh.
Maybe not the concept. This is half faction, half tier list.
Well, that's the thing. All right. Well, we take the. I mean, if we were to put, it's almost like an average. So we got the Hanan sisters, and then
you put the 3 of them together, and then Saida's gonna win every single match.
Hazuki and Momo. Yeah, Hazuki and Momo, Koguma and Fukigen bring them down more than the other two. I agree. I think the Bloodline is higher as a tier than the FW blank.
Wait, so we have clown, cocaine, and then crazies.
Sounds about right.
Momo seems like she just like drinks though. She's always sleepy.
Eh.
Where do we
These three I could see just teaming up anywhere. I May Sierra. All right, so our last three as we go through the final stretch
just
here
throw
is
them together and put just make the Neo
well,
Genesis tier?
yo, that's hilarious. Just put them with the Zubi. May Sierra is a cut above. She's been sort of pinned down with the whole crazy star bullshit and fighting Suzu and
Okay,
bleeding and doing garbage, but May Sierra is really effing good.
here's the deal.
We
May
could fit her
Sierra,
into the Bloodline or FWC. She's not quite Starlight White Belt, but I mean, Beer Princess, FW Blank, or Bloodline is where she belongs.
but here my thing was Miyu is like a really bad wrestler, but she's got so much like you just look at her and you're like, wow, that's just the way she moves and whatever, like looks like a star. Then you got
She's
May,
presented as a star for sure.
yeah, and then May is like probably one of the best wrestlers in the world, but she's got like no personality. Well, she is kind of cute, like and funny, but like she's so
And
awkward and like
yeah, she comes around as goofy and awkward. The puzzle. She used to be the puzzle girl. She came out with a balloon.
okay,
I
so
know she lost somewhere along the line. She lost all her charm when she was sort of goofy. I don't know why she got rid of all that.
so
Suzu's fault.
if you combined them together, it could be really good. Like just them two.
All right,
It's like the
so
autism tier.
so Neo Genesis minus Azumi.
Yes.
Just Genesis,
But
just Neo.
okay, are we gonna put them in a separate tier, or are they with the Zumi? Because I got the name. Not
For a
not
separate?
yeah, not. I'm gonna. We can move the tier up, but like, are they with the Zumi?
Oh yeah,
Like,
all right. Let's put the three of them. Let's I like even with Aya. Let's put the three of them, Aya, May Sierra, and Finger Bang, all in the same tier, and then we'll decide where this tier should land.
okay, but I already got the
That's
name.
a fun way to finish it.
No Neo. I like Aya though. Aya's like,
Aya's awesome.
why can't Aya be in the bloodline? Why can't we move Aya into the bloodline or something up this range?
F-
Well,
okay, hold on. You're a princess?
I'm surprised that there's only 2 people in the Starlight tier. We could always still move some people around too. That's always the funnest part for me. Looking at our list, moving, sliding some people around.
All right, all right. As we stand right now, our
no,
tier list is complete. Would
no
you
Neo.
like to attempt? No deal. Oh, that's so fucking good.
Just no Neo.
No deal. No deal. Would you like to attempt to recap where we are right now?
No. If you're somehow following along in audio form, which I doubt. At the bottom, we have No Neo, Azumi, Miyu Amasaki, and Mei Sierra. At the bottom, we have No Neo. And it's Neo Genesis minus Starlight Kid. Then we got our D plus players tiers. We have our 2 rookies, Akira and Rana Yagami. Then we got the Ruaka's box tier. Konami, Ruaka, Bobby Hill, Suzu Suzuki, Waka Tsukiyama. Then we have our
Let's. What
beard
if that was like the new
princess.
like real quick? What if that was like the new bad guy team? They almost could work as a team minus Waka.
Waka would be like
We just have to put Waka in black, and then all of a sudden her hip attacks are bad guy hip attacks.
those hips are a deadly weapon.
Sorry, I'm the beer princess.
She would be like Fukigen. Beer princess, Yuria
Gosh,
Hemi,
you
Rianne,
joke.
Micah, Yuna, Momo, the nice Momo, and Aya. FW, you fill in what you think the C stands for. Oh, how does Lady C not go in the FW blank tier? That's funny. But
That is funny.
we got FWC and then Fukigen for
Huh.
some reason and Momo Watanabe. The Bloodline, the Hanan sisters, Saidas, the honorary Us, and then Saki Kashima's their wise man. The
So good.
tag team of Natsupoi and Starlight Kid. That almost seems like that needs a better name. That's just a tag team right there.
That could make tag league. That'd be all right. But then you piss off Sayori, and no one wants an angry Sayori on him.
The top tier below the Lady C tier. Saya Kamatani,
So
Kurara.
real, I said I wouldn't interrupt, but real quick, this is like in our mind the top 4 wrestlers in wrestling, right?
Yeah, sure. And Shuri. Saya Kamatani, Kurara, Soriano, and Shuri.
Shuri's so good. But then the top 3, the best of the best, the Lady C tier.
Dude, we're like Vince McMahon. It's like it doesn't matter if you can talk on the mic, doesn't matter if you're the best wrestler in the world, doesn't matter how much merch you sell. Are you over 6 feet tall? Get up there in the Lady C tier. We're gonna push you to the moon. Lady C, Hanako, and Magical Ami Sarai.
I just want to see the trios belt on them. That's all I want. That
Yeah.
team needs to happen.
Let's get a new draft going. We already got you your teams.
The only thing that I thought would be funny is if they had the draft, and then I actually thought about this too while I walk all day, and I thought, didn't they do a thing where the faction leaders had a match to see who had the first pick? Isn't it, did you tell me that's how that worked once?
Think so.
Of course, that's how it worked. And so
Makes sense to me.
I'm assuming Hanan's the lead. I'm just picturing a world where Hanan wins, gets the first pick, picks Rena, and Rena is pissed. Like that's all that sounds so funny to me. And then it goes all the way through, and there's all these good wrestlers left. There's Ami, there's Sayori, there's Hazuki, and then Hanan picks her sister. And that's how the bloodline forms from Hanan winning the draft and like her sister's being like, "Oh man."
Well, at that point, you let Tam Nakano go back on her word by like Saya's like, all right, if you really want one more chance, the only way I could ever see letting you out of like your agreement to like retire is if we have one more match in this like draft thing, and if I beat you, I'm picking you number one. And then Tam's like, well, fuck you, I want you and the Angels. You'd hate that. And then Saya beats her again, and then Tam just says, you know what, fuck you, and just leaves the company. Play by your rules. That would have been a better ending.
It would have. It was almost like what Thekla did. Like, you're an angel. Fuck you. I'm out.
Yeah.
Hazuki was like, Dad's like, I'm the leader of Stars. Suzuki's like, fuck you. I'm out. There's a lot of people just piecing, huh?
Just a little prick sometimes.
Oh, I fucking love that prick. She's so cool. And with that, oh, real quick, another thing with that Korakuen show. That show was like at 10:30 in the morning, wasn't it?
Dude, it was
Like
at
it was 10:30 our time.
it was
It
at
was
like
either 10:30 or 11:30.
it was at like 8:30 in the morning, I thought.
Like, what the fuck? Could you imagine a world where you're like going to church and then afterwards, instead of going to Dunkin' Donuts, you're like, all right, I'm gonna go see fucking Kurara Versailles. Like that is how you celebrate the Sabbath. My goodness. Anything you want to say before I thank our friends and plug our stuff?
Did you just say like praise God and then Kurara? Like a tier below? Like, but pretty close.
Are we putting God on the tier list? He's up there.
Vince
He's pretty
McMahon
high. He's
once
pretty high,
booked
my man.
himself to wrestle God and won.
Yeah, that wasn't in my era either. I probably wouldn't like that. However, you know what I do like? StardomFan.com, Juno. That's where you can find articles, pictures, tour posters. If you want it, it is on StardomFan.com. And it has the links to our Patreon where you can also support us if you like. It has a link to our Ko-fi. You can throw a couple bucks to donate a coffee to your boys, the Stardom fans. Uh,
What?
the stardomfan.com has the links to, you can just listen to the podcast right off there if you like. You can go to YouTube through there. Like, if everything we do is right there. And thank you all. And thank you all. We recorded this live, this masterpiece of a quarterly power ranking that happens once every 2 years and didn't really turn into too much of it. Was just fun. All right, you were here for the fun, and the people in the chat, thank you very much for making tonight special. And Juno, thank you for making tonight special. Anything else, buddy?
Boy.
Bye, boy.
Konbanwa.
Konbanwa, konbanwa.
Bye, boy. How do I turn this shit off?